Every day someone wakes up in the same place they once cried to escape. Maybe they call it healing. Maybe they didn't have a choice. For me, it wasn't either. I used to tell myself I'd never come back here. I even promised it out loud once, curled up in the back stairwell of Building B, whispering through clenched teeth after they turned the heat off for 3 straight days. That promise didn't last. You'd be surprised how fast pride disappears when you're broke, cold, and staring down the last $4 in your bank account. So I came back, to the only place that would take me. The room was still there. Same rust stains in the corner, same ceiling tile missing above the bed. Even the mattress still had that slant that made everything roll toward the wall. It was like it had been waiting for me. I told myself this was temporary, just until I found work again, just until things evened out. But that was 3 weeks ago. And last night, someone knocked on my door at 3:33 a.m. 3 knocks, slow, like they didn't care if I answered, like they already knew I would. I didn't open the door, didn't need to, because the second the knocking stopped, I heard my name whispered. Not loud, not angry, just casual, like a reminder, like they were saying, "You're still here, we didn't forget." No footsteps afterward, no voices in the hall, just silence. I tried to sleep, but the silence in this place has a weight to it, like something sitting right outside your thoughts, waiting for the moment your mind slows down enough to let it in. There are 10 rooms on my floor, and maybe 3 of them are full. No one talks. We don't ask names. That's the way it's always been here. Nobody stays long enough to get comfortable. Except one guy. Room 109. He's been here longer than anyone. Doesn't speak, doesn't make noise. But sometimes at night, if you press your ear to the wall, you'll hear him saying something over and over again. Don't look out the peephole. Don't look out the peephole. Like a prayer or a warning. The first few nights back, I chalked it all up to stress, sleep deprivation, paranoia, my body adjusting to old habits. But things started happening in patterns, always at 3:33 a.m., always 3 knocks, and always followed by that same voice. Not loud enough to be real, but not quiet enough to forget. One night I decided I'd sit up and wait for it. No lights, just me, watching the door from the edge of the bed. And when the clock hit 3:33, nothing. No knock, no whisper. But something else happened. The air in the room changed. Not colder, not warmer, just thicker. Like the walls had moved a little closer without making a sound. And that's when I saw it. The corner of the room, just past the window, looked darker than it should have. Like the shadows had settled into one spot and refused to leave. I kept staring at it, trying not to blink, trying to convince myself it was just bad lighting, a trick of my eyes adjusting to the dark. But then I noticed something else. My jacket, the one I hung on the wall hook that morning. It was swaying, just slightly, back and forth, like someone had brushed past it. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The room was completely still. No draft, no AC. And yet, there it was, that soft, steady sway. Then came the knock. 3:33 a.m., right on time. But this time, it came from the wall behind my bed. I pressed my hand to the wall. Nothing. No sound. No warmth. And then I heard it. A voice. Soft, damaged. Mumbling something on repeat, like a warped recording stuck on the same breath. It stopped when I tried to focus on the words. I didn't sleep that night. I watched the alley through the window. Only one room had a light on all night. Room 109. The next morning, I asked the manager about him. He looked me over and said, "We don't rent that one out anymore. Not since last year." I said, "No, he's still there. I hear him." He said, "That's not possible," and walked away. That night I pressed my ear to the wall again. This time, I heard a second voice, and it whispered my name. I thought leaving would be enough, but leaving a place doesn't mean it leaves you. A week into the new apartment, I started noticing the same patterns. Not at 3:33 this time. Earlier, at 2:57 a.m., every night without fail. The hallway light flickers once, then stays dark for exactly 4 minutes. The maintenance guy says it's a wiring issue. But last night, when I looked through the peephole during that blackout, there was a shape standing on the other side, still, unmoving. Too close to the door for there to be any shadow. A few days ago, I opened a drawer in the kitchen and found something I didn't put there. A note. Same faded paper, same water damage, same handwriting. It only said, "You shouldn't have looked." Last night, the knock didn't come from the wall or the door. It came from the floor. 3 knocks, deep, low, like something underneath the foundation was knocking upward. I stood perfectly still for over an hour. At one point, I swear I could hear breathing through the baseboard vent, like someone was laying under the floorboards, face pressed to the grate, just listening. I don't know what it wants. I don't know if it's the same thing I left behind, or if it's something that's always been here, waiting for someone with just enough damage to recognize it. But I've stopped asking questions, because here's what I think now. It doesn't follow people. It follows patterns, silence, loneliness, doors that don't lock all the way, people who stopped being afraid and started accepting. And maybe that's the scariest part, that the thing itself doesn't have to change. We do. We adapt. We normalize it, until hearing a knock from the wrong side of the wall just becomes routine.